Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of me riding Eliana. So this video was taken back in February. It is now March. So it's been a long time since this video has been taken, but I've just been so busy and I haven't really had time to actually video me and Eliana riding. It's just a lot to make a YouTube video, but I have been active on my Instagram. If you guys follow my Instagram, you guys will notice that I'm still relatively active on there. But in this video, this is me riding Eliana for the first time, and now when I ride Eliana, I can hop on her, and now I am teaching her direction with her new hackamore. It's going really well. She knows how to back up, and she flexes when I get on her. So basically, that's all we've really been working on, but in this video, I take it really slow when I first get on her. Again, this is my first time getting on Eliana, and that is my aunt helping me keep her still and just to be there for me in case she bucks and freaks out, that she will have a hold of Eliana and that I can just jump right off. So I am just coming around her side and I am patting her all around. I jump beside her to make sure she's not going to move, because when you do get on the saddle, you do jump up, so I'm getting her used to me jumping up beside her, and I do this on both sides, and then I put my foot in the stirrup. I'm still jumping to make sure that she's okay. So basically, you just want to take this super slow so you don't spook them and so that they know what you're doing. And if you take it slow, it just goes so much better. You don't want to just hop on. This isn't the Old West. You can't just jump on a horse anymore and ride it out. I really don't want to be bucked off. I mean, I am prepared to be bucked off, and I have a feeling that I will eventually get bucked off when I do ride her, considering she is now officially green broke and she's not dead broke. But I don't want to get bucked off, so that's why I'm taking it slow. And she's doing really well with Thor, my dog. He is running around playing in the snow, and she really doesn't care too much about him. As you can see, I am putting my foot in the stirrup again, making sure that she's okay with it. And then I throw my body over her, not sitting, I'm just laying on the saddle. I'm moving my arms, petting her all around, just so that she gets used to two things moving on both sides of her body. And she really hasn't seen this before. She's probably never been rode, so this is all new to her. So right here, I am leaving to go put on actual riding boots. The boots I had on were big mud boots, and they would get caught in the stirrup, so it was very unsafe for me to keep those on. I really needed thin riding boots, so if she does freak out, I can just slip my foot right out of the stirrup and not get caught or get drug around. And here, my Aunt Marcia is just leading her around to get her used to my aunt. And she is pulling her head down to make her drop her head, because Ellie is very high-headed for some reason. That's why I bought a tie-down. Hopefully that comes to good use, but she's a quick learner, and she drops her head for my aunt. As you can see, she's doing really well with the head dropping. She goes down further every time, so that's good. There's me. Now I actually have riding boots on, so now I can actually get on top of her and not get my foot caught, because that would be awful. I do not want to get drug around in the snow and potentially get stepped on or have her swing around the trees or something. and just have me get caught up in there. So that would not be good. Here I am once again, hopping beside her to make sure it's okay, and I'm doing this on the other side now. Seeing how she is reacting. My aunt is touching the other side of her so she gets used to having someone touch both sides of her body. Here I am laying on her again, and she's doing great. She really doesn't care. And then the dog gets out. So then I have to get off and then go put him back in the house. And now I'm back. So now I'm going to do the other side. I am patting her around to make sure she's not skittish, make sure she's not freaking out. She's moving a bit. So I'm just going to keep on hopping until she stops. And then I take my foot out of the stirrup. So she's doing super well. I'm actually really proud of Eliana, and I did lunge her before this. I want to make that a point. You do need to lunge these young horses before you work with them because they have so much energy. So you want to get most of that. I mean, you don't want to like lunge them until they're completely sweaty and can't walk, but you do want to get some of that excitement and energy out with lunging first. That's why I always lunge Eliana first. And here I am laying on her. I'm not sitting on her yet, and my aunt is walking her around. And both feet are out of the stirrup, so I can just push myself off if she starts to buck or anything. And now my aunt is backing her up. So she's doing super well. And then I slide off when it's time to dismount. So she did really well. She didn't walk around that much, but we'll take it. It was a huge step for her. The previous owner's daughter said that she just jumped right on her when Eliana was in the field and said that she just rode her from there. But I do not know how she did that, if she did that, because I would try to do that and Ellie would literally try to sprint off. If I didn't have that lead rope in my hand when I tried to jump on her bareback, she would be gone. So I don't know if that's completely true, because if you were there and you were talking to the previous owner's daughter, she didn't seem much of a horse person, but I'm not one to judge. It was just, I don't know. I don't think that's true. So that's why I'm taking her as unbroke and making sure I go super slow with everything. And she's doing really well this time. She's walking a lot more. We're backing up. And she's doing super well. I'm really proud of her. And here I am again. I have to run off again because the dog got out again. So my aunt decided to lunge her just to see how she would do. And also, Eliana has done really well with lunging. She doesn't pull as much. As you can see, my aunt is really pulling on her to get her one ear and one eye to face her. But she used to pull super bad. Oh, here we go. A little buck. See, that's what she would do on me. So that's why you have to wear the right boots so you don't get caught up in the stirrup. Okay, I'm back. And I'm going to do the same thing again. Hop a little, make sure she's okay. And then I become a trick rider. So I just stand up nice and tall so that she gets used to something behind her and talking before I actually sit on her. There's a lot of steps that I'm going through before I actually sit on her because I want to make sure that she's okay. It's not that I'm afraid of her. I feel very comfortable when I am on top of her. I just want to make sure that she is okay and comfortable because this is all new to her. So now that Eliana is doing very well with me being all nice and tall on her, and she's not freaking out or anything, I start to feel her butt with my leg. So she, right there, she didn't spook or anything. I think she was trying to get her footing and become more square. But I'm just rubbing my foot all over her butt to make sure that she doesn't get scared when my foot touches her. And then I sat down, and then I get off. And then I get back on. It's like a pressure and release, the same thing that you would do when you want them to drop their head, or when you want them to back up, or with lunging. You know, horses learn really well with pressure and release. And here I am just laying on her, patting on her, touching her butt, rubbing all over, so she knows that when I am up there, I can touch every inch of her body, obviously besides her feet. But she doesn't know that, so I am rubbing her all over, telling her that she's a good girl, and we're just going to make her stand there for a little bit while I did that, because you want to teach your horse to not run off as soon as you get on. You want them to stand there, be calm, and then when you ask them to move, then they move. So my aunt is leading us around. She's doing super well, especially with Thor running around her. I'm just super proud of her. She's done amazing. I don't know if she was, green broke before I got her, but I treated her as unbroke to make sure that I did it safely. And like I said earlier, when I did try to just jump on her, she did not like that at all, and now she really doesn't like bareback at all. I try to jump on her, and she gets a little confused. She's like, why are you on me if there's not a saddle? But she does really well with the saddle. I guess you would think horses wouldn't do well with the saddle, and then they would let you jump on bareback before you put a saddle on them. But she's the opposite. So we're just taking it one step at a time, and she's doing really well. So now, like I said, this was filmed in February, and it is now like March 19th. And I'm now teaching her direction. So it's been a while. Now I don't need led around. So when I go to dismount here, I make sure to rub my foot all over her butt. I don't actually get off like this. It looks like I'm like 60 years old and struggling to get off, but I try to over-exaggerate it a lot so she knows, like, if I do ever get up there like that she is prepared for me to accidentally kick her butt, or, because that does happen. I know it happens. Don't act like it doesn't happen. And so I got off, and then I'm going to get back on, rubbing her butt with my foot, and then I sit. And I don't slam down, just in case that frightens her. I did do that. I didn't, slam down so much that it will hurt her, but I did sit down quite heavy, just so if I do that in the future that she is prepared for it. But that's another thing to work on. And then we're just standing here to make sure that she's calm, and her head is lowered. As you can see, she's very calm. She's not all high-headed. Oh, she's flexing. That's beautiful. And then I stick out my arms. And when we were riding like this, as you can see, her ears are back towards me. And she was a little hesitant on this. It was weird for me to be moving my arms while she's walking. But she did really well. She didn't spook or anything, but as you can see, she looks a little hesitant. And then I lean back when we ask for a backup. There you go. Now she's backing up. Being a little stubborn because when my arms were up, she was a little confused. That's why. So it kind of like threw her off, but she gets better. There you go. See, she backs up a lot better that time. And this is, I'm going to say this again, this is my first time riding her, and she didn't give me a buck or a little bit of a spook or anything. And the dog's out. Wonderful. And she did really well with the dogs running around, so very proud of her. I was really prepared to get bucked off, so when she didn't buck me off, I was like, what's happening here? Why isn't she bucking me off? You know, like, she is unbroke. She's a 5-year-old. Probably never been touched before besides putting a halter on her and throwing her in the field. So why isn't she, like, I was really prepared to be bucked off, but I'm glad that she did not. And to this day, so far, knock on wood, she hasn't bucked me off yet. But she will eventually. Like, I'm betting on it. There's no way that she will not buck me off. I'm hoping that I say this and then, it actually comes true. But she did really well, so I'm going to dismount here. And I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's kind of a long one, but I wanted to show you guys the first clips of me actually riding Eliana. And I'll try to be more active on YouTube. But please go follow my Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.